Hey, I'm Aaron Baker, Shield Healthcare Spinal Cord Injury Lifestyle Specialist. Today I've got my friend Xander with me. Earlier in the year we wrote a blog about transferring. Today we're going to bring that blog to life. Hey Xander.
What's going on?
What are we going to do right here? We're going to transfer
wheelchair to table.
To the table, with and without a transfer board.
This is a transfer board. You get the transfer board below your butt, on top of the cushion on the wheelchair. You have a nice bridge between your body and the table. Adds a little bit of safety for the long transfer ahead. All you gotta do, scoot yourself across that little board. Voila. And now again, back. We have transfer board. We're gonna put it under my butt and on the cushion of the wheelchair.
The brakes are on?
Brakes are on. So that way, as I'm transferring, there's a nice platform below me that allows me to slide into my seat rather than kind of hop over.
The transfer board would be really conducive for quadriplegics like myself, where my upper body isn't as strong as Xander's. I can slide that under me and bridge that gap and allow me to scooch over safely.
In my case, the transfer board makes transferring a little harder. So I put on my brakes, take my feet off, and I just lift myself and one movement, get on the table. You know, it took some practice to get to that. I started with this thing, but once you get the transfers down, you can start using this a little less. During the transfer, I'm using my upper body to support all of my weight. And there's a lot of weight put in my right hand, which is supporting the movement.
Great, so transferring onto a stable flat surface is one thing, but transferring into a soft, low couch like this is a whole nother story.
You know, you go up at a bit of an angle, that always helps, getting you closer to whatever you're gonna transfer onto. And then yeah, going onto something low is pretty easy. You don't have to you put a lot of weight in your right hand, pushing yourself up and kind of letting yourself fall back into the couch. So you're nice, you're chilling on the couch, you're low, you're comfortable. It is a little different getting off something low back into your chair. You do have to use a little more strength. You have to push yourself up out of this cushion. And again, this is all a motion that with time and practice becomes a very easy push and twist. I'll try it on the other side.
So clearly, Xander, when you're making these transfers, the first thing you want to do is make sure your chair's at the proper angle and the brakes are locked. You want the chair to be as solid and stable as possible because you are leveraging so much weight and force through it.
Right. No, you're totally right. A lot of times I do transfer without my brakes, which, you know, can lead to some disaster. So I'll transfer without the brake. Luckily, the chair stays in place because of so much force being put down from my hand. But there have been times where I'll be sitting on a couch. I remember one night I was sitting on a couch. I fell asleep. My wheelchair actually rolled away. Like it rolled 10 feet away. I wake up on the couch. I was like, here I am. I forgot to put my brakes on. I think putting the brakes on is probably the first thing you should always do when doing a transfer. Into your car too, because there are a lot of times where I'll transfer into my car and my chair starts to roll away and it's just like, yeah, don't go. Again, getting back up, you're coming from something low. You're gonna put a lot of weight in the hand on your wheelchair and you're gonna push off with your other hand. And again, it's one push and twist. And you're good to go.
All right, transferring to the ground. From the chair to the ground and from the ground to the chair. This is one of the hardest transfers, at least for me. You have to be technically sound and super strong to make this happen. And I'm excited for Xander to show us today how he does it.
So when I first got injured, this was something I was very scared of, was falling and not being able to get back up into my wheelchair. But it didn't take too long to learn how to do this. So to safely get down onto the floor, you're gonna wanna scoot forward in your chair, keep one hand on the frame, put another hand on the floor, and just let yourself down slowly. And so now you're kicking it. You're at the beach, you're at Coachella, you're just like, vacation. But once the vacation's over, getting up, there's a bunch of different techniques. The easiest way I've found is to have the chair almost perpendicular to you. To bring your legs close to your body, knees to your chest. And again, this is strength and technique. You're gonna put a lot of, you're gonna grip the chair and you're gonna push off of the hand that's supporting you on the ground. You're gonna push up, twist.
You make that look really easy.
I make it look really easy and I know it's like not, but when you're on the ground, it always helps to have something higher to push off of. So if you can find a little rock or anything that'll support you, you know, use that to your advantage.
Even if like a curb?
Like a curb, like a step, anything that's a
Chair.
little higher off the ground will make it much easier to do that. That took some practice and it took a lot of time at the gym, but we're here.
You know, I think staying fit and strong is imperative for your independence.
And that's one of the main reasons I come to the gym, to be able to do transfers off the floor. For if ever I'm somewhere and I fall and need to get back up, I can do it.
Quite frankly, I'm not strong enough to get up off the ground myself. I need to have assistance.
I fall a lot, actually.
I'm gonna keep working out and hopefully I get strong enough to do exactly what Xander did.
You know, every day I get into this piece of junk and I lock my brakes, right foot in first. I'm avoiding my hand controls. So when I transfer, I have space for my right knee to go to. Push forward. And it's so easy just to be able to transfer onto something like the same height as your chair.
So see, no brakes, chair just rolls away.
Make sure you use your brakes.
Pull my legs in.
And we're racing.
Ready to go.
Getting out, brakes are on. Left foot, pull your foot back so it doesn't get stuck up under the pedals or stuck on the side of your car or anything. You want to make sure the hand controls are out of the way. You're gonna push off of your right hand. You're gonna guide yourself with your left. So push, twist, land.
All right, so Xander and I are gonna go for a ride in my van. It's a little bit larger or taller than your typical vehicle. So this is gonna be pretty tricky and interesting how Xander gets into this van.
You know, it is a little intimidating rolling up to this. It's much higher than my body, but almost every tall car has a handle. I take my left leg, I put it on the foot plate where my legs are gonna go. Before I do this transfer, I need to make sure my knee joint is loose so that when I pull up, I can get in. So most of my strength is exerted pulling myself up on this handle. I use the left hand for stability and to kind of aim myself into the seat. We're in.
Nice. So how about now dropping down off the seat into your chair?
So I have two options. I can either get my butt to where my feet are and go from there to the chair, or I can just drop down and hope for the best, which is probably what I'm gonna do.
Make sure the brakes are locked.
The brakes are locked, safety first. Letting myself down, I'm actually gonna hold the door. And that's where my body weight is. And, you know, it's hard having long legs, but that's pretty easy.
Impressive, huh?
So here we are at a public restroom toilet. You always wanna have a hand supporting where you're gonna land. So I would put my hand on the toilet seat, push up out of the wheelchair, and let myself down slowly on the seat. From here, I would use this bar. I would have one hand on the chair, just to keep it in place. One hand on this bar. Push up, and right back on.
Xander's been showing us how he transfers independently. A lot of times people need more assistance. I'm gonna demonstrate a two-person transfer here with Laquita and Darlene. Laquita's gonna get me from behind and Darlene's going to handle my legs. So what we do first, we're going to transfer onto this new step. I'm going to start by swiveling the seat of the machine, and then I'll let the girls take over. So Darlene has me safely under the knees, Laquita has me safely under the arms, gripping my torso, not putting too much pressure on my shoulders.
1, 2, 3.
And now, Laquita will swivel the seat back. I'll grab my foot. So that's a two-person transfer. So for a long time, I had to use a transfer board, and as I progressed, I could utilize just my mother to help me with a one-person transfer from the wheelchair to a hard surface. So we start with the transfer board. I'm going to stick that right in there. Yep, sometimes you can take apart the chair a little bit, make it easier.
There
Right
you
there,
go.
in front of the wheel. I would put my brakes on, but I don't have any.
That's actually very critical.
So I'm going to take my feet off, make sure that they're out of the way. And she's going to grab me. I'm going to hold on. And she's grabbed me by the belt loops or my pants. You don't want to rip. It's mostly the pants, but we're going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. You can tell we've done that a few times. I'd say the most important part for you is posture. Proper body mechanics, making sure that your back is straight.
Bended legs, and so that you're not using your back, you're using your legs to produce the power that you need in order to do that pivot. It's really, really important that you are, as the transferer, in proper alignment to save your back.
All right, here we have a pretty unique piece of equipment. It's called the Hoyer Lift. It's really intended for those of us that need a little bit more help transferring. Most important part of this piece of equipment is the blanket here, or the hammock. This hammock goes underneath the person while laying on a flat surface, a table or a bed. All right, here we go. She's crossing the bottom hooks just for extra security. You just want to get it on there good and tight and have it not slip. It's going to cradle me like a hammock. All right, I'm in. Now we're going on a ride. All right, so I can feel that we're coming off the table. Now that's good. And now we can be slid. Voila! So now we can basically go down wherever we want, down the street, or just over to my chair, or over to a bed, or a table. Hey, yep, we're good. But this is called the Hoyer Lift.
Support.
Yep. It definitely helps transferring if you are in need of this kind of assistance. Pretty cool device. All right, well, we've had a lot of fun sharing this video with you today. Thanks for joining us, Xander, Laquita.
Of course. Hopefully we've made transferring a little less scary for you.
And a little safer.
We'll see you guys next time.